Hey guys, what's going on? May 24th, 2021. Actually, May 25th. We're past midnight. It's about 1 a.m. on May 25th. So we've been having a lot of requests from many traders to make another Bitcoin video. As you know, we've nailed the Bitcoin crash again, as we did back in December 2017 and January of 2018. And what we've got here, guys, is an exact trajectory that Bitcoin is going to go through. So this right here represents a chart, Bitcoin versus S&P 500 from that time frame. This right here is December 2017, where Bitcoin topped out at 20K. This right here is the month of January and February, where it basically temporarily bottomed at about 6,400 before it ultimately collapsed to 3,000. Now, the most important aspect of this particular chart is to understand that once the ball is in motion, meaning that once the trend reversal has taken place, which you would have known how to identify it if you have taken our charts divergences course. Notice that once it tops right here and it creates this bear reversal candles, these bear reversal candles continue to happen, okay, at ultimate top of each bounce. And if you focus on this, you're going to be able to nail every time it's about to reverse the trend. So everybody thinks that the worst is over for Bitcoin, but if you study the collapse of Bitcoin within that historic time frame, it's clear that every bounce in Bitcoin should have been shorted. Now, it doesn't mean that Bitcoin cannot bounce to a higher level from where it's at right now. And by the way, we're about to take a look at the current levels in Bitcoin and exactly what it's about to do next. So before we shift to the current time frames, I want you to focus one more time and understand that after each drop, Bitcoin bounces and it creates a great shorting opportunity, because clearly it drops a lot faster than it's taking the time to bounce. Now, this time frame takes place here over 60 days. However, in present conditions, okay, we may not have to go through a similar identical time frame of 60 days. Things could be happening much, much faster because the market conditions are slightly different from when they were back then. So instead of having a week of an uptrend in Bitcoin, we can just have a couple of days of an uptrend in Bitcoin. And I believe this candle actually has just taken place, and we're going to break it down for you in just a second. So notice every drop follows by a bounce, which is followed by a bigger drop. So this trajectory right here is quite meaningful if you are a day trader or a swing trader and you're trying to max out your returns on both going long and short Bitcoin over the course of the next 30 days. So remember that bounces are great opportunities for you to short Bitcoin and make the money on the drop. Therefore, ultimately, you would accumulate a ton more Bitcoin if you use the simple strategy of shorting the bounce. And if you're new to the channel, let me show you exactly what shorting the bounce is, so it can actually get stuck in your head. So next time you're thinking about jumping out right here, out of your puts, you would actually have the perseverance and the mental image on what to focus on, so you would not miss out on some killer shorting opportunities in Bitcoin in the near term. So here it is, short the bounce. Take a closer look on what Bitcoin is doing right now, this very moment. Okay, so this is a daily chart of Bitcoin, and I want you to focus on this aspect of the chart where we've had a death cross. That was the first major indication that the trend reversal is about to take place. Notice that we did have a temporary bounce, but ultimately we weren't able to stage a bullish breakout on the formation here between the blue line and the orange line, and we had a huge drop. Now we're in the conditions of a bounce, and notice that this bounce is very meaningful because for comparison purposes, what I've shown you on what happened historically in 2017, 2018 is likely to be repeated again. You should not be shorting Bitcoin simply by looking at one chart. So we're actually going to glance here at 8 different time frames. Bitcoin could have easily went above 41K today, but it didn't, despite of Elon Musk coming up with another crazy tweet how he managed to talk to all the miners in the country and he's got a plan of action, and that only spiked it about 1,500 points within minutes. And it created what? It created 2 bear reversal candles, guys. Okay, it's confirming the top, just like the top that I've showed you after the bounce has taken place back in 2017. Focus on the formation of these depth crosses on each time frame that we're about to take a look at, and focus on the formation of this candle to identify your ultimate entry opportunity. So let's take a closer look at the next time frame, which is going to be the 4-hour time frame. As you can see at the 4-hour time frame, this is where your cross has taken place. It was a beautiful situation for shorting every bounce. It bounces, what do? You short. 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 Notice that we had a bullish crossover right here, and this is when we had a meaningful bounce all the way or close to the orange line. And the fact that it was unable to break above that today is highly bearish despite of the catalyst that we've had. It could have done so, but it didn't. So the next meaningful move at this point is likely to resolve to the downside, but not in the fashion that we just seen it over the weekend. It's rather make a rather modest move, maybe a couple of thousand points lower to a level of 35, 36K. If you wanted to call it exactly, I would go with 36,321 from current level of 34,423. So that's about a 2,100 point move to the downside. And I would watch specifically for these candles and how they are developing. Because if these candles start to accelerate on the sell side, we could actually see Bitcoin again under 35K. So right now is not the time to be buying it at 38, 39K. This could be almost an ideal entry to short it again. So now let's glance and take a look at another time frame, which is going to be the 1-hour time frame. And as you can see, in this situation, we have a formation that we would call a bearish depth hook. We don't have a cross yet, but if you look at these conditions, the distance between the orange line and the blue line right here on the chart, you will notice that this formation is quite similar to this formation right here. Remember, right here we had a positive bullish crossover. Okay, we just had a positive bullish crossover right here. But then that bullish crossover does not produce a meaningful bounce because later we go into a bearish crossover right here. So I believe that's exactly what's about to happen again. And MACD already made a bearish crossover, so this gives you a higher probability that the crossover between the blue and the orange are going to take place. Now notice that we use a proprietary setup for our MA lines, which is 13 and 55, opposed to the regular ones that most of the traders use at 50 and 200 and other different time frames. So 13 and 55, those are the magic numbers that we use at 13 market moves. So if you're pulling up your chart and you're seeing slightly different crossovers, it's because your time frame is different. So let's take a look at the next chart right here, at the next time frame. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at a 30-minute time frame. And as you can see, this distance on the 30-minute time frame is definitely heading towards a potential cross here. We do have spikes in volume while the price action actually is moving higher. All this bounce right from 31.5 okay, to 39.5. This bounce is happening while we have definite spikes in volume, and notice they are red bars. So while the price moves higher, we get market participants predominantly selling. Now I know it's highly confusing because the price action is actually moving higher, but these are predecessors to a bigger drop developing in Bitcoin. So the fact that it created a double top formation today, right at about 39.5, unable to break about 40,000, that is definitely bearish. The fact that we have been unable to break out on this last top above 70 level on RSI is also bearish. Notice the last two times, okay, we've gotten above 70. The third time we're getting to the highest price on this chart, the RSI actually drops. That's a definite bear. You guys can learn more about that in our charts divergence course. And now the price action is stalling, and notably it is stalling just under the blue line. Just under the blue line. So it would be meaningful and it was stalling just above the blue line, but it's stalling just under the blue line. And this was exactly the type of condition we had when? Well, right before the collapse from last time, we were actually at that level of 38,000 on Bitcoin at 35. Notice we were trading right here just under the blue line right before this major drop, this major collapse happened over the weekend. Now, the important part in things where you really can see things, if we zoom in on the next time frame around here, which is going to be the 15-minute time frame, you will clearly see that on a shorter time frame, this death cross that recently preceded severe drops in Bitcoin has just actually taken place right here. You will also notice that on this time frame, we're under the orange and under the blue line, which is highly bearish. The only thing to watch out here is the fact that MACD is staging a potential bounce. So we could still get a bounce out of this scenario, maybe a revisit back to the 39 level. We may not even get to 39.5 to create the triple top. We may be heading straight down here after making a possibly slightly higher bounce right here. Now, considering that Bitcoin has been making some of the biggest moves around 3 a.m., and right now, actually, it's right at 2 a.m. right now. So this move lower likely to happen here in the next hour, 2 hours. So you could be waking up to Bitcoin somewhere around here, 36.5, possibly 36,323. A decent move if you know how to trade, even with a little bit of leverage. Now, if you're curious to guys know which account do we use here at 13 Market Moves to trade Bitcoin, make sure you schedule a 20-minute coaching call so we can get you set up with the best kept secret in trading Bitcoin. Guys, you don't want to miss out on these crazy trading opportunities. We actually had some guys that locked in excess of 10,000% in their Bitcoin accounts with this Bitcoin drop that we have predicted. But the opportunity is still there. So with that said, let's take a closer look at the last time frame. It's going to really zoom in on what's currently taking place, and that's going to be the 5-minute time frame. And clearly, we are definitely here in the conditions of the death cross already. Basically, the shorter time frame, it communicates to you what's about to overall happen on some longer time frames. So clearly, you can see that we've been trading for the last few hours under the orange, under the blue, okay, which is bearish. We're in the condition of a death cross, and if we take a look here at the MACD, even though it was bullish in the prior time frame chart, on this time frame chart, it looks like it's about to make a bearish move lower right here on the MACD. So when you take a look at all these multiple time frame charts, guys, it creates a definite picture that Bitcoin is about to make a move lower here, not higher. So if maybe you went long Bitcoin at 39K after Elon Musk tweet, probably sitting there thinking, holy shit, should I be adding on this dip? If you want to learn how to trade, how to find your entries and exits precisely, I've just shown you some basic stuff. You can learn a lot more from our charts divergence course. If you're trying to be a student of the market and really take your trading skills to the next level, guys, ideally you want to learn how to do this on your own. So you could be doing the research. So you could be the guy that can figure out the next move. For now, I've let you know the next move in Bitcoin. So now I've shown you guys the basics of how you can learn to identify the next move. It doesn't matter whether it's in Bitcoin or a particular stock that you're looking to trade options with. Guys, if you need any help, if you have any questions, schedule a 20-minute coaching call. You can do that by going to 13marketmoves.com or clicking the link below this video. And if you've never traded crypto and maybe you're just starting out, definitely work with a coach. One of our coaches has helped a student take their trading account from 5 Bitcoin to over 38 Bitcoin this past week. So guys, if you are looking, okay, to take your account to the moon, this is definitely a great time to begin. Schedule a 20-minute coaching call with a senior trader here at 13 Market Moves and get started. Don't let another opportunity like this pass you by. Let's roll. I'll catch you guys on the next video soon. And don't forget to short the bounce.